Dr. Rupesinghe is currently the chairman of the Foundation for Coexistence and Ratna People Movement in Sri Lanka. Among many positions that he held, the following I would like to mention. He was the Secretary General of the International Alert, known as the AI, involved in promoting the concept of conflict resolution. He was also the Deputy Director of the International Peace Research Institute in Oslo, known as the PRIO, and past 20 years he has held the following position as chairperson of the Forum for Early Warning and Early Response and Human Rights Information Documentation Change International, and the chairperson on the Commission on Internal Conflict. Then he served as the coordinator of the United Nations Program on Conflict Resolution. He has authored and edited numerous publications in the field of conflict resolution. He will address you on the subject of IDP and the future. I would now very kindly invite Dr. Kumar Rupesinghe to address the
the Chairman and Rotarians. I'd like to thank Nalin Fernando, who I think basically suggested that I speak to you. The subject that I was asked to speak on is 4 months after the war, where are we heading? I think I'll start by saying that this is the greatest opportunity that Sri Lanka has after a 30-year brutal war to get our act together and to catch up on lost time, to rebuild this country. An opportunity which we also faced during the tsunami. We lost that opportunity. Now we have an opportunity again. Best way to share with you some of the concerns is when we were invited by the President to discuss the situation of IDPs temporarily, and many of his ministers and advisors were there. And at that time, I basically said to him that as a person who had sought a negotiated solution, I congratulate him for having ended this war, and that the challenge before him is how to win the peace, because ending the war requires one set mindset and winning the peace requires another. And why I say this is that whilst the war is over, there are still many conflicts which has been a result of this war. Like the information continues unabated internationally, where we have a very large diaspora of over 3 million, and who basically have a very good grasp of communications, to be able to communicate and disinformation about the country. We have a challenge in healing the wounds as a result of this war. And I think that is what one has to address, particularly when we have 280,000 so-called IDPs, our citizens, who are in the north and who do not have yet the freedom of movement. Although the situation in the camps have improved, and we also are now operating in the camps, and I must congratulate Rotary again for the work that you are doing in Manning Farm. We are also most probably going to be engaged in the issue of ex-combatants. As you know, we have about 15,000 ex-combatants, and they are angry people, and they have a lot of healing to do, and this is a major challenge for Sri Lanka, how we manage that process of healing and winning them over to the mainframe democratic system in this country. I had the experience in 1971 to have helped in the rehabilitation of the young people in the insurgency of 71. And this is one of the reasons that we have offered to work with them, particularly to provide them with information technology training and English as two skills that we wish to impart to them. Now, the other war that we have today is what I call our toxic foreign policy. I call it a toxic foreign policy because we have continuous attrition with the Western powers, and I have written about it. I have made a point that we have to be very careful about the way in which we handle our foreign relations, and that we have to now win over the West. After all, who the markets are with the West, our value frame is derived from the West, and that we have to be very careful in how we handle our relations. Very soon we are going to get to know what is going to happen with the GSP-1, and then very soon also the American Congress is going to be given a report on war crimes. And these are critical issues for us and how we are going to handle this. I think on the war crimes issue, I think the West will have to be very careful in the way he handled this issue. We are a small country. We have gone through a terrible terror for 30 years, and now we have ended this war. And the issue of war crimes, I don't know of any experience in history where a victorious army has been able to conduct war crimes against itself. It hasn't happened in history. It has always been the conquered who have been subject to war crimes, like when the Allied powers held the